happy about how we played and also about the result.
Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another win as FC Barcelona continued on their winning streak, this time with, hear this right, a 3-0 win against Getafe. Now listen, there are two teams in this world against whom a 3-0 win is always going to be sweet. Those are number one, Real Madrid, and number two, Getafe. I might even argue that at this point in time, a 3-0 win against Getafe might even be sweeter because, my goodness, if you are familiar with Jose Bordalas and his methods, you would not believe that this guy was inspired by Johan Cruyff, right? But he was, weirdly enough. But thankfully, FC Barcelona were able to see through the result, like I said, rather comfortably here, okay, with a brace from Ferran Torres. Him becoming now the third Barcelona player in 3 matches straight. Wait, I said the third player, the fourth player in 3 matches straight. No, wait, I said the fourth player, the fifth player in 3 matches straight to score a brace. Following on from, against Valencia, we saw Fermin, Rafinha, and Lewandowski get a brace each. Then against Newcastle United, of course, Marcus Rashford continued the trend, and now this time around, it was a turn of Ferran Torres to fail to score a hat-trick. This might probably be the best failure that you could possibly have in life, like, hey, I failed to score a hat-trick today. Can you believe that? That was Ferran Torres, of course. He did look pretty good coming in for Marcus Rashford in the starting 11, allegedly because, Rashford turned up late for training and so he ended up being benched. However true that is, I don't know. But one thing that I do know is that FC Barcelona got the result that they needed, especially with Real Madrid having won earlier yesterday against Espanyol. So this was the result Barcelona needed. Going up into that Real Oviedo matchup, and this might be as well the last home match Barcelona plays at the mini Estadi, aka the Estadi Johan Cruyff, because going forward they should return to Montjuic at least for the foreseeable future. The upcoming fixtures against Real Sociedad and PSG have definitely been penciled in for Montjuic. So I guess anybody who missed Montjuic, you got something to look forward to. But going back to the match, it was a pretty, I would say, open game than what I would have expected. Typically, Bordalas does set his team up a little bit deeper than he did this time around, but of course they still had the trademark nastiness. I think Getafe are like the only team in La Liga whose primary objective is to play the man and then play the ball if they can. All right, it's always like play the man and if possible the ball. Okay, because it's not an issue of get yourself between the ball and the man. It's like, the man is getting himself between you and the ball all the time. So, it's like take the man out first, then get the ball. And that's how Getafe plays football. So many fouls that we saw in this game, unnecessary as well, just designed to wind up Barcelona's players. And they succeeded on Rafinha because, just before he assisted Ferran Torres for his second goal, they did wind him up and he did get booked. And I think we all remember the opening fixture in Xavi's last season against Getafe where, Rafinha was sent off, right? We all remember that game. I think that was still there, even in Flick's mind, and it was like, hey, Rafinha really does not like playing against these men. I'ma just pull him off before he gets sent off. And I think that was the correct call as well. Marcus Rashford coming on for him and showing some lively sparks, of course, in the second half, getting the assist as well for Dani Olmo's goal. Dani Olmo as well, I should probably say here, a much needed return to form. This looked a lot more like the Dani Olmo that we've been expecting. Yes, he still had some moments where he gave the ball away, but just he was able to make the right decisions today, I felt, especially with that, just chef's kiss, wonderful assist that he had for Ferran Torres with the back heel, the timing of it all. Like, honestly speaking, words do not do it justice. If you can, if you haven't yet seen the goals, just go watch the highlights, see the goal, you see what I mean. Anywho, aside from all of that, I thought this was pretty standard performance for Barcelona, at least standard as we would expect under Hansi Flick. This one could have had actually way more than the 3 goals, which again is the type of thing we've been saying now as standard under Hansi Flick. So it's good to see that it seems the team is settling back into the rhythm that they had last season, or at least that they had, prior to the start of this season. Because in preseason, they did look like they had a bit of rhythm to them as well. And I think we did as well see some interesting, I would say, little cameos here and there, Rooney Bardaji once again getting some minutes. Good to see him getting bled in as well and starting to look a bit sharper. I think he looked much sharper here than he did against Valencia, which is definitely a positive. Probably just some jitters he had against Valencia. Got those nerves out of the way, and now we can expect, hopefully, to see a lot better from him going forward. And speaking of going forward, like I said, it's midweek for Barcelona. It's Real Oviedo, who they're going to be playing next, away from home. So that should be pretty interesting. You know how these, I don't want to necessarily call them small teams, but the smaller teams in La Liga, we know how it goes with them. Like, the smaller teams in La Liga are like Batman, okay? Their superpower is prep time. You give the smaller La Liga teams enough prep time and they can give a team like Barcelona, a team like Real Madrid, a team like Atletico a run for their money. And speaking of Real Madrid and Atletico, that is of course going to be the next fixture for both of the two. They're playing each other. It's the Madrid derby. So, hopefully Atletico can, just, throw a little speed bump for Real Madrid, who at this point are still perfect. And, for all the criticisms that you could have for them, they're under a new manager, 1. 2, they're figuring things out, but they're still undefeated. So just imagine what's going to be like when they've figured everything out. If they're able to stay undefeated, to stay perfect, actually forget undefeated, if they're able to stay perfect with all those things going against them, just imagine what it would be like when everything is firing on all cylinders. So something to keep in mind. For Barcelona, of course, they just have to go over to Oviedo and they need to get the win. Once again, it's catch up for Barca really up until they can maybe face Real Madrid in an El Clasico, which I think should be coming sometime in October. So we'll see how all of that goes. But aside from that, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Who impressed you in this game? Whose performances were just irresistible for you? Of course, Pedri and Frankie are always going to be up there, but let me know what you thought of the performances that we saw today. But aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. To have a great day and Forza Barça.